knows it supports you. And that means maybe lifting up onto a blanket or something else that actually gives you some low back support. So you want to always feel as if your low back has a curve and that you're lifting your whole torso up from that space, and then allowing for a deeper breath. We're going to bring the breath down into the belly. Just feel your centering by moving into that inner landscape, letting the breath move down into the belly, and then taking your time and elongating the time of the inhale, knowing that this is prana. It's not just a breath. It is life-giving force. So here in this yoga practice, we celebrate the breath. Bring the breath to as many parts of our body during the course of this practice as we can. Breathing in and exhaling out the same length of time. So you really want to have the inhale and the exhale, and if anything, let your exhale be a little bit longer than the inhale. So just a little touch longer. We welcome this day, we welcome the centering, we welcome this summer with its light, sounds, colors. The way our heart just opens and expands. Now bring the breath into the belly, then let it rise all the way up to the lungs, and then from there all the way up to the base of the neck. And you want to hold at the very top of the inhale, and the interruption of the breath is important. Just let there be a pause. And then with awareness, exhale out from the throat, down into the lungs, and then again into the belly. And just feel the fullness and the wholeness of the inhale and exhale. Like a day and a night, the moon and the sun. They both are connected and yet have different meanings. So just feel the prana coming in, and then the way in which your exhale releases toxins out of your body. And I think it's important in these times of using a lot of energy and having high energy to be very conscious of the exhale, to exhale more. Just let yourself release some of the energy that you may be holding on a daily basis, maybe on an hourly basis, whatever is needed to help you find balance. And then with your next exhale, whenever that happens for you, you're going to let your chin come down to the chest and breathe into the opening of the neck and the upper part of the back. Just stay here long enough to just really feel the way that your body may be tight. One side may be more than the other. Just see if you can let the breath begin to balance and soften those areas. Do whatever movement here that might help you actually begin to change some of that. Like on my side, it's always the right, my dominant side. Few deep breaths here. And then release your hands on either side of the hips. And on the inhale, lift the arms and lift the gaze in your seated sun breath. You turn the palms and exhale with your fingertips down and chin to the chest. And then the palms roll upward again, arms and gaze all the way up. turn the palms and exhale, fingertips down, chin to your chest. Remember, you're going through your own auric field here, 2 feet around you. Inhale all the way up. You get a feeling for your energetic body around you as you do this. Turn your palms and exhale. It's all part of who you are. And then last time, palms roll all the way up. Hands go to pray over your head, then down to the heart. As you close your eyes for a moment and breathe into your own inner landscape. Set an intention for yourself in this class. Something that, some person maybe that you would like to honor your work in this practice, or to healing on the planet, or whatever it is, whatever actually feels like a prayer in your heart today. Just set that intention for your class. So we offer our energy and our awareness to something greater, can be planted onto this earth. Breathe into whatever that intention is for you. And then open up your eyes and release your hands. We're going to start at the very top of your mat. For those that are coming into this class, it's going to be a kind of a back bend focus onto this class. So if you have a chair or a couch that you can sit on at some point into the class, that would be great. We will be doing some low back exercises. So let's start by just centering, bringing our hands down to Dasana, the mountain pose. Feel your feet. Now let your knees soften so that you can begin to feel the energy from your core going all the way down to your feet. So you're not locking the energy behind your knee, you're softening so it moves all the way down. Feel the 4 corners of your feet onto the mat. Let your arms reach all the way up into a standing Tadasana. And then exhale and fold. Shins go slightly forward, thighs back, head down towards the floor, arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up to a standing Tadasana. Exhale and fold. Again, shins forward, thighs back, head down. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees generously. Take your thighs back a little bit further. Head down towards the floor a little bit further. Then, arms reach all the way up. Back to a standing Tadasana. Clasp your hands, palms up towards the ceiling. Exhale over to the left, and then inhale all the way up, and then exhale right. Just a gentle stretch, gentle. Just as we start to open and let your breath begin to breathe into your body. I just find it very interesting that so much of what we're going through right now is about breath. Isn't it interesting? COVID and Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe. So let's learn to breathe deeply into our own being, just with a gentle side to side, and then come all the way back. Release your hands and swan dive down. Shins forward, thighs back. This time, let your right leg go back into the runner stretch, and as you do that, let your hands be on either side of your foot. Press your right heel up towards the ceiling and then press it back. Let your gaze be up. Don't look down to the earth. Gaze up, heart up. Fingers lightly touching so you stay in your core. Feel the stretch. And then reverse. Right foot is forward, left foot is back. Notice the difference in your body. Take the right hip back behind you. Let your left heel lift up and then press your heel towards the wall behind you. So you're really stretching your whole leg. Fingers are on either side. Gaze up, heart up. I want you to breathe into the stretch. Feel your whole leg breathe right down into your heel. Then bring your left foot up to meet the right. Head down towards the floor. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. And then let your arms go out into a T position. And I want you to breathe right here, fourth chakra, heart chakra, right into your heart. Let your palms go up towards the ceiling. And just notice how that's an invitation to receive. Here we are in the bright sun, long days. Receive the energies. Breathe into the gifts that are given to us every day on this earth. Good. And then let your palms go down towards the earth and circle your arms in one direction and then the other direction. And as you're doing that, begin to feel the difference in your arms, like which one might be a little tighter than the other. One more time, circle in the first direction, and then the other. We're looking for that awareness. We want to bring that awareness in. Then bend at the elbows, coming into a cactus pose. Move the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. And often that means your rib cage goes out. So we want the rib cage to go in, but the head of the arm bone up and back. And you want to feel your back body connected. Staying here in cactus, feet solid onto the earth. You're going to inhale and then let your heart lift up towards the ceiling. Feel the way that the tips of your shoulder blade come together. And breathe again into your fourth chakra, heart chakra. Breathing in, a nice deep breath. And then release and come all the way down. I'm sure your arms are feeling a little tired, so you just kind of shake them out and take the head of the arm bone up toward your ear and back. I feel like I'm soothing some hot liquid in there right now. It always feels that way in my body. And then reverse the direction from the back to the front. Good. All right, so let's come into the right leg forward and the left leg back. I'm not so concerned. I know that the goal is for our leg to be parallel to the floor, but I'm more concerned about getting the right alignment in all of this. Heel to arch is the alignment, and you want your hips to be square to the long side of your mat. So if you're looking towards the camera, and that is actually bringing your hips forward, you got to change that. Go with your view. So in other words, you're looking in a different way. So right leg is forward, left leg is back, and your left leg is parallel to the short side of your mat, and your arms are going to go out in a T position. Now it's a T position over your right leg. So take a nice deep breath. There you go. Okay, there we go. Now take the left thigh back. And this left thigh pressing back comes from your core. Comes from engaging your core and then taking the top of the thigh back, bending a little more. Arms are out. Look over your right hand. Once you find a balance that feels like you can breathe into your left foot, just enjoy that breath. Left arm down, right arm up into Stargazer. And then come all the way back to Virabhadrasana 2. Now let your right elbow onto the knee. Take your left hand down in front of you, all the way down. Rotate it up over your head, which is going to put your shoulder in a better place to do Parsvakonasana. Now, take your left thigh back a little bit more. Rotate your torso. Ideally, you want your right side to be extending as much as your left. So you're not collapsing like this into the pose. You're up and stretching the right side as much as you are the left. Good. Come back to Virabhadrasana 2. Hands on your hips. Turn your right foot. So now it's parallel. We're in Pasarda Padottanasana. Exhale, come halfway, just halfway. And I'm going to show this sideways. This is what I see in class and in Zoom a lot, okay? You're in this pose, you're very vulnerable. Halfway, people get their hips to go way back, and what happens is you're blowing out the back of your knee. Stay upright. Can you see the difference? I don't know if it's too gentle or subtle away, but you can't rely on the back of your knees, especially at our age. So you got to bend a little bit, come upright. You got to put more energy in your core. Come halfway by pressing your hips back, but not physically bringing them back, because now my lower back is completely compromised. Up, belly, halfway. Hands onto your hips. Good. Bend your knees, everyone. Take the inner groins back. Inhale and lift. And if you do that work, I'm telling you, you're going to sweat. It's a lot of work. But we've got to look at, especially in our practice, that's why I love to do the 50 plus class, alignment that's going to help us and not hurt us. We can do a practice over and over again. We have patterns in our practice, but sometimes those patterns are actually damaging us. Left foot forward, right foot back. We just have to bring discernment and alignment to the practice. Left foot forward, right foot back. You're parallel to the long side of the mat. Your hips should be along there, not here. That's another pose, a really beautiful pose. We're bending, we're here, Virendrasana 2. I want you to breathe into your right foot, little toe mound down, look over your left hand. Breathing in. Take your right hip back. That's a tough one. And you're going to find one side is different from the other, part of the back exercises that we're doing. Nice deep breath. Right arm down, left arm up as we open the left side body. Again, breathing in, come back to Virendrasana 2. Left elbow on the knee. We're not giving a lot of power here. I want you to extend your left side, bring your right arm all the way down and over. It's going to position your shoulder in a better place. Coming into Parsvakonasana, take the right hip back slightly more and breathe. Breathe so that you can feel your energy going all the way down to your toes, up to your fingers. Breathing in, come back to Virendrasana 2. Good. Hands on your hips. We're back to Pasarda. Turn your left toes. Now if you have a block, take a block. You can put the block in whatever position feels good to you. Again, we're not looking to get your hips to go beyond your ankles. That's what I was trying to show. No hips behind your ankles. Now, you're also going to be very conscious of what your head is doing. You're going to come down halfway again. Shins go slightly forward, knees bend, inner groins go back. That's going to balance your core and your torso. Left hand onto the block, right hand onto your hip. So just for a moment, feel this. And you're not giving a lot of power to the block. You're staying right here in your core. Rotate the torso to the right. At the same time, take the left hip back. So you're stacking your shoulders, one on top of the other. Rotating, don't bother with the arm. Get the rotation, get your core engaged. Get the top of the thigh to press back. So you can soften your knees if you can keep your knees soft, soften them if bending is too much. If bending works for you, do that. And breathe, release, come all the way back to center. Let your hands go on either side of the block. Head down towards the floor. Breathing in. hands onto your hips. Inhale and come all the way back. Good. So just like down dog, if your head is kind of like just hanging down doing nothing, if you're kind of bending at your neck, you've got 12 pounds pulling on your spine. You want to lift your head up. You want to keep your neck strong. So as we're coming in, so you're still here, exhale, come forward again. Remember to keep your hips from riding back here. Forward, bend, keep this, it's in your knee. Come halfway, let your head go down towards the earth. And I want you to feel how that disengages your belly. Head down the earth. Now, press your head up, and now that supports your belly. Head up, so someone is actually pushing your hand into your head into your hand. Low back and belly work together. Now you've got your block, right hand onto the block, left hand onto your hip. You're stacking your shoulders one on top of the other, taking the right side back. Rotate. And you need to do this with your core. Nice deep breath. Good. Release, come all the way back, release all the way. Come all the way on towards the floor. Whatever that is for you, I had to move my block out of the way. You may too. Nice deep breath. Now press into your feet, soft knees, hands onto your hips. Inhale and come all the way back up. Woo! Pasarda. It's a killer, man. All right. Parvottanasana, right foot forward, left foot back. Now we're square. We're going to be square to the short side of the mat, squaring here as well. Hips to shoulders are square. Again, head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back without getting the lower part of the rib cage to lift up. Same thing, hands onto your hips. You're coming forward. And you're coming forward in a way that keeps your head in line with your spine so that your belly is engaged. You're not just dropping your head here. That makes me unwobbled and I get all crazy. Head stays in line with the spine and you come forward hinging at the hips. So have a soft knee but not necessarily a bent knee. Soft knee. Take the right thigh back. Left hip forward. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Parvottanasana. And then switch. Left foot forward, right foot back. You know, no two sides are the same. So you're going to judge. You're going to begin to judge what feels right for you. Now I want you to be conscious of both your hips and your head, which may be asking too much. Now you know what we're going to do. Put your hands up to your head. Press your head into your hand and your hand into your head. Now, don't let your elbows go way too far. Let them come in a little bit, but don't let them come right by your head. Give them a little room to move. Head of the arm bone up toward the ear, and I want you to press your hand into your head at the same time that you're coming forward. And your left hip is going to go back, your right hip forward. And then inhale and come all the way back up. All right, I hope that felt a little different for you. It's connecting your head and your belly energy together. Back of the head, skull loop, and core. So we're going to do the right side again one more time. We're going to do both sides again with the arms up because I think this is really important. I think we look for ways for our core to be strong and, you know, like we're not 30, we're not going to do all kinds of those crunches and all that kind of stuff. But if you do the yoga practice with the connection, the alignment in mind, every pose you do will be a core job, will be connecting your core. This is how you do it, back of the head and core together. Happy belly, happy low back, by the way, as well. So we're going to take the right hip back, left hip forward, and come forward in a forward fold. Parvottanasana, head to hand, hand to head. Good. You want to lift your head into your hand. Lift your head into your hand. That's good. Yes. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Okay, head into the hand. So in other words, it is not this, it's this. Extend. Not this, this. Extend. Left side, one more time. Takes a little bit. Hand up, head to head. Now, for those that might have the beginnings of a round back, this is part of the way of getting rid of that, because we don't want a round back as we get older. Exhale and come forward. I see a lot of young people with a rounded back because of texting. Right hip forward, left hip back. Breathing in. Head to hand to hand. Head to hand to head. And until you can feel your core engage, and then lift all the way back up. Good. This is advanced. This is Anusara advanced stuff, making these connections. So I want you to get a chair. We're going to do a little SI work. My sacrum has been a little funky. Again, I'm not sure why. Could even be allergies. I don't know. I was never allergic before. But for whatever reason, there it is. I'm finding ways to figure this out. I want your feet solid onto the floor. I guess I have to go back further for you to see that. Feet solid onto the floor. So come to the edge. And I want you to have your sits bones solid onto the floor. If anything, I'll just kind of do a little inner spiral here to get your sits bones connected to the floor and the chair. And you want to lift up through the spine. You want your torso slightly forward. You don't want to do this. This is exactly what we're trying to get rid of. Can you see how tucked my tailbone is? This is an anterior tilt, and this is going to kill your lower back. So we want this. We want this low back curve. Part of that is your core. So we're here on the chair. Your knees are about block width apart from one another. And you want your feet solid onto the floor. You're coming forward slightly. You're pressing your hands into your knees, just like we did hand and head. Hands into the knee, and you're, with all your might, pressing your knees back into your hands. This is going to do a number of things. Take your belly into that open space and bring your hips down to the chair a little bit more. Hands to knee, knees to hand. Now you're feeling in your body what I'm talking about when I am taking thighs back and apart. So your hands have to be on the outside of your knee. I can't see everyone, but the outside of the knee, and you're really pressing in and pressing back. And you should be feeling this in your lower back. I certainly am. All right, so that's one of the other part of this one is you put your hands in as fists, where you can see it best. Fists in between your legs. Now you're going to do kind of the same thing. Your fists are holding the space and you're pressing your knee actively into the space. Now I'm also using my core to help this happen. And I'm breathing in. So go back and forth a few times, hands on the outside, press your outside of the knee into your hand, hand resisting, pressing in. Then into the center, fists, and you're taking your hands, holding them in place and pressing your knees with all your might into your hands and breathe. Guarantee you at some point you're going to need these exercises. I don't know, they keep coming up. All my friends around me are having SI problems, including me. All right, that's number one. Number two is we're going to go onto the floor. I'm going to show you this in a couple of different ways. Coming onto your back, all the way onto your back. Now, you're lifting up your shins so that they're parallel to the floor. You're going to have one hand, figure your right hand on your knee, the back of the kneecap itself. The other hand is going behind your thigh and behind your kneecap. Can you see that? Now you're going to press your knee, your right knee into your hand and resist it, and your left knee is pressing away, and you're going to bring your hand to push into it. So it's doing two things, two different things. Right knee into your hand, so the energy is going this way, and your left leg, your foot, is going away from your head, but your hand is holding it in place. Okay, so this way it kind of looks this. Now you're going to switch it. Your left hand is going onto the knee, on the top part of the knee. The right hand is going underneath, and you're going to press your right foot away from your head and your knee towards your head. All the time your hands are resisting this. Breathe in and release. Woo! All right. I'm going to stand up for a moment and just kind of shake that out. Come all the way up into a standing pose. I hope you felt that. We have one more to do, but I want to get just a little reset here. Let your hips go all the way around in a circle. Nice deep breath, and then the opposite direction. Good. One more low back thing. Good. Were you able, give me a thumbs up or something, were you able to feel that in your body? Okay, good. Good, because I have found this to be almost miraculous. Like I was in so much pain on Wednesday, I wondered how I was going to teach. And then I was like, all right, I got to find something. I can't be in pain and teach. And I did these exercises, 3 exercises all day on Wednesday. By Thursday, I was fine. So I'm like, okay, I got to teach these. This is good. All right, so coming back into on your back. This time, it's almost going to be like Sukhi Rendrasana. You're going to take your left foot up so that it is on top of your knee. Now, instead, like in Sukhi Rendrasana, we lift our leg and we bring it in. It's not about that. But what we are going to do is take our ankle into the knee and press your ankle towards away from your face. So you're pressing, it's a deeper stretch on the right side now. What I find that makes it a little bit more powerful is to have a low back curve. You see how I'm able to have my hand underneath? So the power of pressing my foot away is not coming from my back smashed up on the floor. I lift my back up, perineum goes down, and now it's my core helping my leg press away. So feel that difference in your body. The difference between having a tailbone that goes under too far and your lower back is smashed to having the low back lifted. You have the low back curve, which is what we're always looking for, and then pressing your knee into your ankle into your knee. And breathe, because there's a lot to be breathing into here. And then release that, come all the way back, and you're going to do the other side. So again, find your low back curve. Even if you're still working on it, get your perineum to go down towards the earth. Good. And then ankle to knee, pressing away. So it is pressing away from your face. A whole leg, the whole ankle and the whole leg is pressing into your stable left knee. Good. And then release and come back. Woohoo! Yep, that's it. Those three will do a lot to help your lower back stay nice and happy. Like I said, they were almost like miracle things. So let's come into downward dog. Let's come into a table pose. And I love showing it this way. Curl the toes. Now, we're going to use some of that open low back. Fingers are here. Fingerprints, back of the palm knuckles. You're going to press the top of the thighs away from you. Pressing away. I love to get my core. Press away. Now my hands are ripping my mat apart. So my toes are curled under. You're going to lift your knees up slightly. Take your thighs back more. Now this is where we begin to learn that downward dog is not about our shoulders, but it's about our hips. Pressing back, and then lift all the way up. Fingerprints down, palm knuckles down. Again, you want to lift your head up to be between your arms. If your head is going way down too far, you're not doing your head or your neck any good. Lift it up. Head of the arm bone up. Now, take your lower part of your rib cage up to your spine. Then press your thighs back a little bit more. And now, we are opening our back. We have the thighs holding the pose, and our shoulders are free. Lift your right leg up. And breathe. Right leg goes down, left leg goes up. And then breathe. Come all the way into the table pose. Let your knees go out to the side, toes together. Roll back, extended child. Now if it's in your practice, let your elbows go onto the floor. Bring your palms up into prayer and take the palms over your head. And breathe in. A nice deep breath, and just begin to feel your body open and expand. Now, the more we bring this sense of openness and freedom to our body, the more we bring this out into the world, and God, don't we need it? So feel it. Feel the strength, feel the connection in our body. It's what I love about yoga. It's not about one thing. It's not just about strength, like going and pumping up at the gym. It's about connecting to our spirit and helping our mind to stay in that space, calming the mind, connecting our spirit to all that is, and then bringing that out into the world. Strength and openness. And then inhale and come all the way back up. All right. So we're going to take our block again, work a little bit more with the low back. Open the quads this time as well. So you're going to place your block in a way that supports your SI, supports the lower part of your pelvis. So you're going to know, like if I bring this up, my block up too far, I'm in my lumbar spine. That's not where you want it. You want it to actually support your big hip bone. Now, Press into your head. Here we go again. Press into your head. So you lift your heart up. Move the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. Now open your palms. We're going to go back into the receptive mode of opening the palms up and bringing the shoulders back onto the floor. You want a curve in your neck. You don't want your curve anywhere near the floor, but you do want the back of the head connected to the floor. Your feet are on the floor. So don't have your feet too far away from you. Let your feet be close to the block and under your knees. Now from here, just spend a moment to feel your body onto the floor. It's very important because I'm going to ask you to look at some tiny little places in your body. Breathing in. Now I want you to keep your head and your shoulders right where they are. Keep your heart lifted. That's your heart chakra lifting up towards the blue sky. And I want you to press into your feet to lift your hips up off the block. But I want you to keep a softness in your hips. I don't want you to jam up your hips going into a full Setu Bandha. I just want you to drop it down a little bit and do a little pelvic rock so that you have a low back curve. Now, take your knees away from your head. Press your knees away from you, almost like we did with the SI exercises. Press your knee away. Now you feel a quad stretch, or hopefully you do. You feel a nice quad stretch, and just play with that a little bit. How much further can your knees go? Can you drop your hips a little bit more? Can you open your heart? When you drop your hips, can you lift your heart up towards the blue sky a little bit more? Then take your knees away from you. So you are feeling that quad stretch in a very deep way, but an integrated way. You're not blowing out your lower back. You're using your quads. You're using the stability of the pose. Then release it, come all the way back down, and breathe. Now, if you're like me, you're exhausted. So just take a moment to breathe. It's hard to do, or it takes a lot of energy to do this very intricate little work. It's not for everybody. But this is where I find that my practice changes. Otherwise, I just do the same old thing over and over and over again, and that for me was never an option. I needed to go somewhere else. Take a breath. We're going to do that one more time. If you have to readjust your head of the arm bone, then press into your head, readjust. It's always a good idea. Palms are up, because that's holding your head of the arm bone in the right place. Now press into your feet, because we need to have that ground. You're going to lift your hips a little bit off the block, but you're not going to go too far, because the real work is pressing your knees away from you. Good. Knees stretch. You're getting a quad stretch here without blowing out your lower back. Come down a little bit with your hips. Now lift your heart up. Heart up towards the ceiling. Press your knees away a little bit more. And then release the whole thing and come back. Now stay on your block. Bend your knees. Lift your legs up towards the ceiling. Good. You're going to take your left leg and bring your left leg down towards the floor and let your heel go onto the floor. So that's stretching the front part of your hip a little bit. And then release, come all the way back with your left leg and let your right leg go down. Again, stretching the front part of your leg and your hip. Breathing in. One more time, lift all the way up, left leg goes down, heel all the way to the floor, and then lift all the way back up, and right leg down. Again, breathing in and coming all the way back. Good. Then then come all the way, feet onto the floor, take the block, release it, come all the way back, turning back into a seated pose. Good. And finding yourself into an Upavista Konasana, letting the inner groins go down, lifting up through the spine. Now I know a lot here, I see it in a lot of students, a lot of Zoom classes that I do, tailbone goes under, and here we are. This is you. You want to retrain your body to create the low back curve, which might mean that you're on a blanket or a pillow. I'm going to just show it with a block for a moment, because a block is what's handy at the moment. So I'm saying this is a little extreme, but you want to get the low back curve. You want to train your hips to settle down, lifting up through the spine, nice and long, and getting your shoulders forward over your hips. So if you're not quite there yet, do everything that you can do to promote your low back, which means going on a blanket or something that actually helps you develop, move from a tailbone that tucks under like this, which is basically surgery for you coming up in your low back, and lifting up and letting the low back do what it needs to do. It is the bridge. It is holding your spine up. This way the bridge is collapsing. This way we're using the strength. Coming forward, nice deep breath. And again, this is the same as Padottanasana. Hands to your head. Head to hand to head, lifting up through the spine. We can't ignore the head and the belly here if we do this. You can easily ignore it if you're not doing this, but inhale and come all the way up. Once you feel this though, you want to feel it again. Exhale and come forward. You may not go too far, but if you've got the connection of your head and your lower belly, yay, good. Exhale and come forward. Head to hand to head. Everything is active. Toes are active. Heel on the floor is active. Thighs are active. And your belly is active. Head into your hands. Everything is active. Exhale forward. Inhale up. And exhale forward. Inhale up. Can you begin to see the connection between the low back and the belly? They support one another. Exhale forward, inhale up. Now take your hands away. See if you can recreate that. See if you can break some of your patterns. Because I know we all have patterns. Exhale forward in that same way. Instead of going like this, stay upright. Exhale forward, like your head is with your hands, and inhale all the way up. How does that inform your body? How does that begin to change this pose for you? That's what we're looking for, is how do we develop that deeper, inner, more exploration that brings us further into our practice. Just because we're getting older means nothing. It just means that we can bring some wisdom to our practice. That's what it means. Exhale forward and inhale up. Keeping your legs in Upavista Konasana, let your left arm reach all the way up. You're crossing your left hand onto the right knee. And you're inhaling up and rotating your torso. Now keep your left hip down. So again, hand to knee, knee to hand. I require every part of my body to come into the pose because that's how I feel connected into the practice. So I try to feel like my whole body is present and my mind is present in the practice. Inhale, come all the way back. Come centered. Now we did those SI things. You may have noticed one side of your back is a little weaker than the other. So when you go to twist, and if we're going to your weaker side, bring that awareness into the twist. Right arm reaches all the way up. I'm coming to my weak side. Come all the way across. Right hand is going onto the left knee. Inhale, head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. I need a little more power in my belly to keep my right hip down so that I can twist more fully. Breathe in, a nice deep breath. Good, just feel the connection, like you're not leaving any part of your body behind. You're trying to give a little bit of love to every part of your body. Come forward, come back to center. Give yourself a moment to just feel centered. So both sits bones are onto the floor, onto your blanket. Close your eyes and feel your heart beating. And when you feel ready, when you feel that both sides of your back are ready to move forward, then let your fingers come forward. Now, if you do this with awareness and you do this with a sense of love and connection, you'll find that you go down very far. It just happens. It doesn't, you're doing it through the connection and the grace of the energy. Not that you've come to some sort of physical or whatever place. You've come to a connected place. You've come to a place that actually allows you to feel that level. You begin to empower grace and then come all the way back up into a seated pose. Now, empowering grace, like how more wonderful is that? And I don't think it gets more wonderful than empowering grace. And then bringing that grace onto the planet that needs it so much right now, and it's ready for it. It's ready for your grace. Come all the way back and bring your feet together, your legs together, inner spiral. Good. Cross your left over your right. Now, if it's in your practice to scoot your right leg over towards your hip, do that. But you've got to balance, right? Means that your right hip is feeling very heavy. Bring some of that energy to your left hip and then come back upright. So now we're a little bit more balanced. We're a little bit more in a centered place. Right arm reaches all the way up. Once again, we are crossing. Right arm to knee, knee back to arm. This is an ongoing theme. Inhale all the way up and rotate. Stay upright. If you tend to let your back go way back behind you, away from your hips, bring your torso up over your hips. Begin to break that pattern. Breathing in, feeling that connection. Nice deep breath. And then release and come all the way back to center. Both legs straight out, inner spiral. That low back loves the inner spiral. Then come back with the right knee. Bring your left leg over. Again, see now when I'm doing this? I'm all on my left. I gotta work to kind of get to my right side. But I want to feel a little more balanced. So I work at it a little bit. Inhale all the way up. Left arm reaches, crosses over, rotate. And breathe. You may feel a little popping in your back. Consider that a chiropractic adjustment. Breathing in. Nice deep breath. Good. Then release, come all the way back. I want you to have a 5-minute Shavasana. So come into laying down. Coming all the way onto your back. Just breathing in and allow your whole body to feel the Earth's connection. The Earth is so available to us right now in the summer. Drink it in. Take it all in. body feel the practice. Your breath be the breath and in the rhythm of the earth. Western sky illuminated in the afterglow of the day. In this quiet transition, one can hear your soul whispering love songs and see Venus shining. Allow small movements to come back into your fingers and back into your toes. Don't rush. Savor this moment. Be in the afterglow of your practice. And then bring your knees into your chest and hug them in, gently rocking from side to side. And then roll to one side as you pause for a moment and breathe into this inner landscape, which is you, connected and in a place where you can receive. And then continue the side roll all the way up to a seated pose, bringing your hands to prayer position at your heart center. And together, we'll do one Om. So take a deep breath in. Om. May we have peace in our heart, peace in our mind, true and everlasting peace and healing on this planet. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Yay. Have a wonderful summer day.
Thank you.
Thank you.